guys, welcome to the show. This is the Transfer Rate Your Rumour show, basically. Philip is going to rate. I'm going to fling out, Philip, a few transfers to you, basically, a few rumours that are floating about. You're going to give your rating from 1 to 10, 1 being least likely, obviously, 10 being highly likely. So we'll see how we go. This could be an interesting one. I'll start off with Eoin Toal to Hearts or Salford, because there's been two clubs involved here. It was even on Sky Sports that he was linked to Hearts and Salford. So I would suggest there's no smoke without fire. I don't think they're going to put that in Sky Sports unless there's something like, let's be honest, a League of Ireland player as well. How do you see this one?
Well, I suppose I will give the one to Hearts, I'd say an 8. A fact for him leaving, I'd say 10. He's just too good for the division, Keith. We discussed this previously. He scored last night, and I haven't looked at the game, but I've spoke to a couple of Derry guys that said he was really good, even though they got beat. So yeah, look, I definitely think that he is going to leave, whether he goes to Hearts or Salford, which club was it? I think it was Salford, yeah. That remains to be seen. But I suppose I think Hearts would be probably a step up for him in regards to Salford. With all due respect, they're kind of basking in the lower ends of the football league in England, whereas Hearts are back in the top flight in Scotland. So yeah, I think it'd be a good move for him personally. It's not a club that would be too out of his depth. Where you look at where he is now, what he's doing, I wouldn't see a reason why he couldn't get into that side. I suppose that they've played in the first division last year, so you would imagine the quality of their players that are at the club at the moment, he'd be probably in and around and would fancy himself to get into the squad. So yeah, I'm going to give this one an 8. I don't see why it wouldn't happen.
There's the other thing of Aaron McAniff, of course, being at Hearts, and guess who he played with at Derry City?
Yeah,
Aaron
of course,
McAniff.
yeah.
I wonder if there's a bit of a conversation. I'm sure there's been some conversation going on there as well. And Toal has been here since he was 17, playing for Derry City. He's now 22, so he's really matured over the years. So if you're going to go, it's probably a perfect time for him, isn't it, in all honesty?
Yeah, and look, I suppose there's let's not be around the bush. Aaron's obviously had a word up, do you know what I mean? And I think it helps for Toal's sake that Aaron has had a good start to his life at Hearts. He's done well, scored some goals, got man of the matches in certain games. And I haven't watched too much, I'm being honest with you, but when I always do try to look back and see, was he in the squad? Did he play? Did he score? And more often than not, he was playing, and he was getting on the score sheet when he could. So yeah, look, I suppose there's definitely been a word there, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, as I said, if this goes through.
So what are you saying, Hearts 8 and Salford?
Salford. Salford, I'd go 7, just off the fact that Aaron's there. Just a slight difference in quality. I think Hearts might be a little bit ahead of Salford just at the moment.
I think Hearts would be a better move myself as well for him. Mikey Drennan has popped up again. He's now linked with Cork City. How do you see that one?
That man.
He's been out of the game for a while. League of Ireland, anyway.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's more clubs than a deck of cards, to be honest with you, this fella. Yeah, look, I suppose they need goals, don't they? Let's be honest, they do need goals, and I suppose he could be. I don't see him being the answer to the problems that they have. I think there's more to it than that. So I do think it's something that could happen. Do you know what I mean? It's set up for both camps. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't been in a League of Ireland club for a while now, and I'm going to give it a 6. And just the reason why I give it a 6 because I don't know if that's going to be what he wants. I don't think it's going to be just the player that he is. I just can't see him being up for that. This stage of his career, club that's not really doing great, starting to struggle a bit, going through the motions. I suppose he's done that a lot throughout his career, but I just think he's at a stage now where maybe that doesn't interest him. Now saying that, I could be completely wrong. He might end up signing, but I'll say a 6. Maybe the fact that he needs to get himself back playing is something that might have something to do with it if he does go. So yeah, I'll say a 6 out of 10. And again, don't be surprised, but just about unlikely for me.
Chris Shields has obviously moved from Dundalk to Linfield, but how do you see Pat Hoban to Linfield? How do you see that rumour?
I've heard, honest with you, I haven't heard anything about this. This is a bit of I'm just trying to process it now. Nah,
Well, I
can't
don't
see it
tell you
happening.
as well when it come on because it
Yeah,
makes it
yeah.
interesting. It does.
This reminds me of last year. This really caught me off guard.
I didn't make this up, by the way. None of these are made up by me personally.
See, I don't know. How old is he now? 29? He's around
Would
that
be
age.
near enough, wouldn't he? 30 maybe,
Yeah.
Yeah, he is playing for Dundalk as well. So was Chris Shields, I guess. But...
Yeah. Look, Linfield are doing quite well at the minute, aren't they? That's the other side to it. Like, and maybe he wants out. His
contract is up at the end of the season, incidentally, as well. So I don't know if Dundalk could be thinking, can we cash in here or not? Or is this rumour coming from the fact that Shields has made the move himself as well? So it's a funny rumour, really.
You're persuading me here now. You're persuading me. I'm going to go straight down the middle. I'm going to go 5. And the reason why I'm going to go 5, Keith, is I can't call it. I'm not going to say it's likely. I'm not going to say it's unlikely. I'm completely sat in the fence on it just because, as I said, the first time I've heard it, the circumstances regarding his contract and all, I've not even thought about that. The fact that you've said it now has brought me from maybe a 3 up to a 5. So, yeah, that is quite an interesting one. I suppose people will start talking in the comment section about whether he's done enough to stay at Dundalk, you know what I mean? And whether he's done enough to play for Linfield, the way he's playing at the minute, like, you know, because
he'd even be interested to move up there, I've no idea.
Yeah, that's another thing. All these little elements that are coming into play. I suppose that's why we love this time of the year, because there's just such uncertainty about the place, and I suppose it's a conversation starter, this whole transfer window. So yeah, I'm gonna go 5 out of 10, Keith, and I suppose don't rule it out, but don't say it's going to happen.
Another Dundalk player now, Junior, to Waterford FC. Now, I think the interesting one with Junior, he's not getting any game time at the moment. He's kind of fallen off a cliff in terms of game time, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was like, seeing it in my face there, maybe. I think this is going to happen. I do think it's going to happen. And it's because, like, there is talent in the lad. Like, I personally think he's able to play ball. Like, do you know what I mean?
He's also no issue moving club, has he? He's gone from Derry to back to England to Sligo, quickly to Dundalk, very, very quickly, like.
Yeah, I suppose the other side where you need to look at that and say, well, is something up there? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, is there a reason why he's moving clubs so quickly?
Money.
Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, I suppose. If I'm going to give you a score, Pete, I'm going to say a 7. And the reason why I'm going to say a 7 is because I just think this will happen. But where stronger is because, as we've just alluded to, he's chopping and changing clubs, like changing T-shirts. Like, so... Like, yeah, it remains to be seen. I suppose if you look at it from a Waterford perspective, would he be an addition? Would he be an addition? Absolutely. I feel he would. I feel he'd bring something to the squad, something different that they probably haven't had for a little while. I'm going to go 7, and I don't see why it wouldn't happen, Keith.
Yeah. Finally, we're going to Anthony Stokes, the Shamrock Rovers. Now, this one's a little bit different because we know he's actually there on trial, but there's a difference with being there. I don't think he's played competitive football for 16 or 18 months, which is another one. So I suppose give your score and then maybe give your opinion whether you'd like it or not.
Well, I'll give the score on whether it happened. I'll give me opinion score afterwards. So I'd say a 9, to be honest with you.
I think it's going to happen, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I've spoken with a couple of lads since I've heard this. Now, I've only heard it in the past couple of days, which is surprising. And a couple of lads said that he's done well since he's come in and it's going to happen. So
he was there, by the way. He was he wasn't on the bench, but he was there. Like,
he was at the game last night.
He was, and he was in kit and that kind of thing.
In terms of what I think of the transfer, I think it will happen, as I said. I gave a 9. My personal opinion on it right now, that I would go a 3, to be honest with you. I don't like the thoughts of it. Stephen Bradley said in an interview about 6 months ago, Keith, that when he first came into the job, he slept on sofas in Roadstone because he was working so hard on getting players with bad attitudes, people that didn't give a damn about the club, out of the club. And he spent a long time doing that. And this transfer just looks like he's completely gone back to what he got rid of. You know, let's be honest, Anthony Stokes is... On his day, he can be a marvellous footballer. You know what I mean? It's been there to see. Celtic didn't kind of work out for Ireland, but Do you know what I mean? He is an international. You can't take that away from him. And as well as that, like, he done really well at Hibs when he did play, in my opinion, you know, and that quality that he could bring to those clubs, if he brought that to Shamrock Rovers, by God, he would be, he could be up there with the likes of Gary Twiggs in terms of the scoring, but you need to realise he's 32. He's had a lot of misconduct in his life and his career. I just don't see why that would change now. Do you know what I mean? I don't think, like, just the way his career's gone, he doesn't seem like a player that is starting to mature. Do you know what I mean? He's out of a club 16 months now, as you said, but like,
yeah, the quality clubs have kind of got worse and worse.
Yeah,
to be honest, haven't they? Yeah.
He was playing it. I think he had a little spell in the Middle East for a couple of weeks or something.
Yeah, playing with a team called Tractor as well. Like, never even heard of them.
Yeah, and I just don't think that's ideal. You know what I mean? Like, you have someone else like Rory Gaffney that's come back, and that's a different type of signing. Like, you know what I mean?
Would he be angry as well if he wasn't playing? That's the other side of it as well. If Gaffney was ahead of him, and that kind of thing, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Like, he can't put himself ahead of Gaffney. Gaffney's playing football. Do you know what I mean? That's simple, lads. I mean, he doesn't get ahead of, quality-wise, he gets ahead of Green, and quality-wise, on his day, he gets ahead of Gaffney. That's on his day, I think he gets ahead of Green and Gaffney. Like, it's been 3 or 4 years since we've seen him on his day, so I just think I don't think it's a good signing. I think it's a recipe for disaster. I'd love to be proved wrong, but I just, you know yourself, Keith, the history he's had. I keep saying it. It just doesn't sit right with me. But I suppose Daddy Desmond, as we like to call him now at this stage, I think he's right behind this rumour, and I think he's got a big influence on what's happening. So, yeah, it's probably very likely going to happen, Keith. But it's going to be interesting. I hope this gets people talking, because it did get people talking yesterday, I suppose, on the post I put on the League of Ireland group chat. So I suppose I'd love to hear what other people have to say in the comments down below. So I suppose let that be a big conversation starter, and hopefully it's going to be another couple of these now in the next couple of weeks, these videos that we're going to be able to have a chat about, and other clubs can bounce off each other. And, you know, yeah, I'm looking forward to the next couple of ones coming up. So yeah, I think it will happen, Keith, but don't think it's a good thing for the Shamrock Rovers side of it.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if any of these deals go through. So I'm interested to see how that works out. Guys, let us know what you think in the comments. As Philip says there, subscribe, hit your bell notification button, and like the video. Cheers. Thanks, guys. Brilliant, Phil.